Good morning and welcome to Living Local 15. Thank you so much for joining me today. First up, I am taking you inside of IU Health Physicians, and I'm going to chat with Dr. Jefferson to learn all about preventative care, the services that they offer, and how she can become your new doctor. Then Visit Fort Wayne joins me in studio to share about all of the events taking place in April, so you don't want to miss it. Are you ready? Let's get started.
Fashion, food, and fun. You're watching Living Local 15 with your host, Jessica Williams.
This segment sponsored by Indiana University Health. I am outside of IU Health Physicians, which is an all-in-one medical practice to get everything you need and more. Today I'm going to talk to Dr. Erin Jefferson about preventative care, learn more about her services, and that she's accepting new patients. Let's do it. Joining me now is Dr. Erin Jefferson, who is a family medicine physician here at IU Health. Hello, doctor.
Hi.
It's so good to sit with you.
Nice to sit with you as well.
Yes. Okay. So I'm just dying to learn so much about just family practice and family medicine and what that really looks like from scratch. We've all had a family doctor, and it's so important to just fully understand all the services that we can obtain by visiting you. So before we dive into that, let's start with your background. Tell us about just your history and how you became a doctor.
So I was born and raised in Indianapolis, not too far from here, and I had a love of science and medicine from an early age. But what really encouraged me to support others is to make sure that I could support people during their difficult times. When I saw some family members go through some illness, I really decided that I needed to be a source of comfort to people, and I figured this was a great way to do it and to combine all of my loves.
Yeah, exactly. And I read that you really care just about providing the best and affordable health care for the family, and really focusing on the whole family, which is the coolest thing about a family, physician, is you're not only just seeing the children, you're seeing the mother. You're seeing the mother when she had the child, and then as the child grows. So tell me just about that experience and how you provide services for the entire family.
So I think in order to make sure that people reach out and get preventative services and healthcare, you have to make it easy and accessible. And especially if we take a new mom, she has maybe one or more kids that she needs to coordinate, and she doesn't always have time to coordinate childcare or whatnot to go to the doctors. So if we can have a one-stop shop where they can come and get all of the care they need in one place, and maybe even do visits back to back for her and her family members, then it's ideal for everyone.
Right, exactly. And it's that comfort, right? You know who you're talking to, you feel comfortable opening up because it is such a personal relationship that we have with our doctor. So let's dive into the preventative services and kind of give me a rundown of what people can actually come and see you for.
So there are so many things that we can offer here in family medicine, and I think one area of confusion is what's the difference between a preventative service and a problem-based service. So a problem-based service would be something like, I have a sore throat, or I sprained my ankle, or I think my blood pressure's been running high. And alternatively, a preventative service really gives us an opportunity to have a proactive mindset in terms of health and look for conditions before they develop or before we even know that they're there. So those types of things involve age-appropriate cancer screenings, immunizations, and just general lifestyle coaching. So those types of things are incredibly important for a long, healthy, sustainable life, and also a good quality of life as well.
Right, and I think sometimes people are used to seeing those services such at health fairs, for example, where you walk around and get those screenings, but you don't have to wait to find your next health fair. It is important just to come and be regular on getting those screenings. So how often would you say a patient should come and see you to make sure that they're up to date on those items?
Fantastic question. When we see newborn babies, we see them pretty frequently in their first year because we want to make sure they're hitting their developmental milestones, want to make sure they're current on their immunizations, and they're gaining weight appropriately. But once we get into older age, once a year is sufficient for those preventative services. Where it can get tricky is if someone has chronic medical conditions and they're here maybe a few other times in the year, it can be sometimes a difficult ask to say, come back one more time for those preventative services, but it's so valuable and so important.
So you make such a good point, because I think about, well, if you're already coming to the doctor for a reason, can you just slide those screenings in, or is it best to set up a separate appointment for it?
Great question. On some circumstances, we can squeeze them in together. We try to be really mindful of people's time and their cost and transportation barriers, those kinds of things. But in order to provide high quality medicine, we want to give each problem the appropriate amount of time and consideration it deserves. So for example, weight management concerns are things that come up a lot, and they fall under the scope of wellness and prevention. But those are really lengthy conversations, and so those aren't always best to squeeze in with other conversations as well.
That's a good point, because it's about getting the best attention to what you need, and then being mindful that you have other patients to see as well. So it's just about allocating the right time at the right time. And so let's talk about the age ranges a little bit. I mean, I would assume things are broken up by children, adolescents, and then men and women, adults. So let's start with children. What would be some of the top preventative screenings or tests or questions that a parent should ask about their child?
Well, lots of that in terms of the preventative questions. That's our job to help guide the parent through that. But certainly questions, if you ever notice as a parent that something with your child just doesn't seem right, they don't seem to be talking or walking or doing things that their other age similar peers are doing, then that would be something to bring up to your physician. But at those appointments, it's our job to ask a lot of probing questions and really make sure that that child is meeting those guidelines. One thing, for example, that we do to help with that is we do some questionnaires. In our office, we use the MCHAT and the Ages and Stages questionnaires, which are very popular and well-regarded developmental questionnaires to look for things like autism and similar. Alternatively, we'll also test for things like lead, check for anemia, and then of course we do hearing and vision screenings as well. So those are all very important as kids age.
Yeah, and you're right, especially at the beginning, trying to pay attention to all those motor skills as they're being developed to make sure that's right on task. Okay, but then you have the next level, which are adolescents. So that falls in your tweens, your teens, and then almost adults. What should parents just be mindful of as they're observing their young adults to see if they maybe need some additional help?
I think the biggest thing is, unfortunately, depression and anxiety, social isolation are so prevalent right now. So really making sure that those adolescents come in for a preventative visit is huge, because we have the opportunity to screen for those issues. And sometimes adolescents are very keen at being able to hide those feelings if they don't feel comfortable speaking about them. And occasionally during those exams, we will even ask if the parents feel comfortable stepping out of the room, just so that the adolescents feel like they have a really safe space to bring that forward. And then of course we talk about a lot of things that come with growth and aging. We talk about, of course, immunizations, we talk about puberty, we talk about sexual health, avoiding drug use and substances and things like that. All of the things that peer pressure can sometimes encourage, and we try to educate but never judge.
Right.
Yes.
Exactly. And you make such a good point about the fact that sometimes we think about it's about our physical health, but the mental health is just as important, and it is something that really starts with a physician. You know, people think, oh, I have to maybe go see a therapist or this and that. Those are great, but it starts right at home. I kind of feel like a family practice physician is like the home base, like you're the hub, right? And then you can kind of you can refer out from there.
That's exactly how I view myself. I think of myself like the quarterback of the football team. I know that's sometimes a cliche, but so many of my patients have other specialists, and it can be very overwhelming for them to keep track of those appointments and to know what their other specialists have said. So the family physician can really be that central communication point, and I can help to reinforce and support those recommendations that their specialists have provided. And I think that goes a long way in making sure nothing slips through the cracks and nothing is forgotten.
Right, exactly. Okay, so now let's jump over to adulthood. And of course, we have men and women, totally different, sets of body and just our makeup and different tests and focal points that's needed. So let's start with women.
So women, I think every physician has a different flavor of their practice because every physician has different interests and also a different population that tends to gravitate towards them. So I think me being a woman, I tend to attract a lot of women patients. So I do a lot of well-woman visits. I do PAPs, I do IUD placements, I do Nexplanon placements. We talk a lot about also depression and anxiety, just like with the adolescent population. And then we talk a lot about hormone health and weight management and diabetes prevention, cholesterol issues and elevations. Really, if you can think of it, we talk about it. And usually I start at those visits talking about 4 key drivers of health. I talk about diet, I talk about sleep, I talk about exercise, and I talk about mood. And if we talk about all 4 of those, usually something will come out of that discussion that allows us to determine where our next steps are.
Yeah, absolutely. It feels like it's such a whole body experience the older we get because, our body's working more. We've been around longer. So it's like every single organ, it's like, okay, what is happening? Heart health, lung health, all these things.
Exactly.
Which is great. And then, of course, as women, get above the, I can't remember the age threshold, but then you start moving into like mammograms and like you said, cancer screenings and stuff like that. So then on the men's side, the first thing I think about is prostate and how that's such a big difference between the two. So what other things should men really focus on?
So we do talk about prostate health with men, but we also talk a lot about their general sense of well-being and prioritizing their health. Certainly not to generalize, but I find that oftentimes men don't elect to come to the doctor as often as they should. So I try to do a lot of educating on if you have these symptoms of, perhaps a heart condition, or you have these symptoms of a lung condition, these are reasons to call me back. I know that you may not choose to come and see me every single year, but I encourage it, but at least if I can arm them with information so they know what to expect, then I can, make sure that I see them when it's urgent. And then I do a lot of counseling them on what to expect as they age, because sometimes as we age, our joints ache and hurt a little bit more. Sometimes our exercise tolerance declines. And so it's really important to understand, is this a normal feature of aging, or is this a sign that there's something else going on? And should I call my doctor for this?
Yeah, which is good. And really right now, it's always a good time to consider your health. And you have to make sure that you have the right person on your side. And I know that you are currently accepting new patients, correct?
I am. I've been at this location with IU Health for almost a year. And so I'm gladly welcoming new patients into my practice. And I really enjoy caring for the community here in Fort Wayne.
Well, I've enjoyed talking with you. I can tell that you're just so knowledgeable and your energy is just so warm. You make such a good doctor.
Thank you.
So it's such a pleasure to learn more, and thank you for the information today.
Thank you. Thank you for your time.
And if you would like more information about IU Health, in particular Dr. Erin Jefferson, then we'll put her contact information below so that you can reach out, because she is currently accepting new patients. And I'll see you after the break.
This segment sponsored by Indiana University Health.
Have an idea for the show? Want to find out how you can be a guest? Contact us at livinglocal15@wayne.com.
It is a brand new month and there is so much happening around Fort Wayne. So I have Erin Okeson here, who is the digital content manager from Visit Fort Wayne. Good morning, Erin.
Good morning.
Welcome.
Thanks for having me.
Yes. Okay. So we got the green memo.
Yes.
I think we're still carrying over from St. Patty's Day. But now, okay, spring has officially kicked off and people are getting more outside.
Yes.
So tell us what's happening.
Yes. You know, spring is one of those really busy months here in Fort Wayne. We are heading into the summer season. We're ready for that warmer weather. So one of those things that we're kicking off with is Tin Caps baseball.
Oh,
You know, we love the return of baseball season, and Tin Caps, their home opener is actually April 4th. So right at the beginning of the month, which is great. So if you're having maybe a spring break staycation, this is going to be great. You know, Parkview Field, they continually are voted, you know, one of the best minor league baseball experiences. Tickets start at just $7, so it's affordable and great for the whole family. So lots of opportunities to go cheer on the Tin Caps and take in a baseball game this month.
Exactly. Okay, so last year I went to the opening night.
Yeah.
So it's kind of fun, that initial energy, like everyone's out and
Yes.
ready just for the new season. And like you said, there's so many opportunities. There's plenty of seating in the stadium, but if you want a different experience, they have that grassy area
Yes.
that you can come and just grab some food, and they have their specials.
Yes.
So we have to shout out the fact they have like Thirsty Thursdays, Family Tuesdays. I think Family Tuesday you can get like hot dogs and pizzas for only like $2 or something.
Yes, it's a great deal. They have their Paws and Claws night when you can bring your animals. So yeah,
Yes.
lots of great theme nights too.
Great. Okay, so when is the official spring break in Fort Wayne?
Yeah, so a lot of, you know, schools do spring break kind of that first week of April.
Okay.
So if you're, you know, spending the week here in Fort Wayne, there's so much to do. So we have the Tin Caps games. The Fort Wayne Zoo is going to be open, and I'm so excited about what they have that's new this year. So they have their new Coastal Cove, which has seals and sea lions together. And then, of course, their new Glow Wild exhibit. So this is their nighttime lantern display where the zoo is just going to be lit up with larger-than-life lantern displays. I can't wait to see that. That's going to be going on through May 26th.
Oh, wow. Okay, so that's the whole spring.
Yes, yeah.
They are doing that. That's exciting. I mean,
Yes.
and the zoo is great for kiddos.
Yes.
I don't have any kids, so that's why I was like, when is spring break? But also for adults.
Yes.
You know, just go and just, you know, explore, because when do you get to see these interesting animals, like ever?
It's amazing, and people travel to come here for our zoo. It's amazing, so we can't take it for granted. It's amazing, whether you have kids or not.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, so what else is happening? I know that we are edging up on festival season.
Yes.
Is it happening yet or not yet?
You know, we're kind of starting to get there. So
Okay.
the Michiana Wine Festival is happening at
that's
the
a
end of
good
the
one.
month. Yes, this one is always fun for those 21 and over. So this is happening April 26th, and you can come out to Headwaters Park, enjoy a day where you can sip and sample wines from around the region. They're also going to have live music. You can enjoy some food trucks. And then if you want to start the fun a little early, the night before, you can enjoy the Wine at the Line 5K. So get a little active, some exercise before you enjoy some of that
so
wine.
what is that?
Yeah, so that's a 5K that they have there. And the name, you know, leads me to believe that you get some wine at the finish line. So it's going to be a lot of
motivation.
fun. Yes.
Get to that finish line.
Yeah.
Make people get out that has never.
Yes.
So the Indiana Michiana Wine Festival have been on the show in the past, and it's so interesting because the lady brought in some very unique wines. I think she brought in like pumpkin spice wines and all types of stuff. So you have to go to just explore all these enthusiasts.
Yes, and this is a really good time. You know, maybe you've been curious about some of these different kinds of flavors of wine. So this is a great time to try those, see what you like, what you don't like, and just, you know, maybe find a new favorite.
Right.
Yeah.
That's great. Okay. Anything else that we need to know about for April?
Okay, well, coming up at the very end of the month, so starting April 30th through May 4th is the Vera Bradley Annual Outlet Sale. So, you know, thousands of women travel from around the country. They have a girlfriend getaway weekend here in Fort Wayne, and the sale is just gigantic. So if you've never been, you need to go see it. You can find all of those purses, totes, luggage, everything for up to 70% off retail price. So it's amazing. My personal favorite, I feel like I have to tell everybody this, is the blankets. So if you're going, the blankets, I have so many at my house. I get them for other people, but those are my favorite product there.
Yeah, they make a great gift. I mean, and this city loves the Vera Bradley product. And so I love it so much. I have seen footage of this outlet, and they come out in droves. and it's like a big warehouse. I mean, isn't it like at the Memorial Coliseum?
Yep.
Okay,
it's at the Memorial Coliseum.
That's a big space.
People wear their matching T-shirts that they wear together. It's so much fun.
Yeah, that's great. Yeah, and what I love too is that their brand is ever evolving. So they just introduced a sleeker black line if patterns aren't your thing, and then just some other theme stuff. So it's worth checking out just to find the right fashion style for yourself.
Oh my gosh, yes. It's a great experience. Just really something to see in person if you've never been. So yeah.
Yes, awesome. Well, thank you so much, Erin, for telling us the top things happening for April, and I'll see you next month.
Thank you.
And if you would like more information about everything that's happening around Fort Wayne, you can go to www.visitfortwayne. Let me tell you, their website is amazing. You can search for everything from comedy shows to music performances to just workshops and arts and crafts. Everything is there, so check it out and have fun this month. And I'll see you after the break.
Follow us on social media at Living Local 15.
Enjoy fun in the sun on Living Local 15. Become a tourist in your own city. Visit your favorite spots and have some fun with me. From kayaking to rappelling off a building, I show you ways to have an adventure in Northeast Indiana every weekday morning at 9 on WANE 15. So join me, Jessica Williams, for Living Local 15.
Watch Living Local 15 with Jessica Williams weekdays at 9 on WANE 15 and catch past episodes on WANE.com. Living Local 15, proudly driven by the Kelly Automotive Group. Go to the Living Local 15 page on WANE.com for recipes from the show, to watch a segment again, and to get information on products and services featured on Living Local 15. Content segments during today's Living Local 15 were paid for by these sponsors.